Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek.
It's the season finale of Strange New Worlds Season 1. Future Christopher Pike has to convince his past self not to attempt to change his fate with an email. It's like when Doc Brown tore up an envelope about his future, but with Romulans. Lots of Romulans. And some captain named Kirk.
I know the light is on, but this is important. You're telling me that you saw two Rockies, two of them, in the corridor, and one was explaining to the other one that he shouldn't stick his what where? That it would change the future.
You guys know about this now?
Yeah, it was in the reports.
Wait, even Section 31 knows about it now, too. Great.
Section 31 knows about everything.
Yeah, so they know I can't stick my, where, so.
What the hell did you stick?
Instead of two Rockies, two rock.
What? Oh my God.
I was partially Klingon while my future self visited me.
What the hell were you thinking about sticking it to that your future self came and warned you against it, that catastrophic events would happen?
A gentleman will never tell.
Well, it's a good thing you're not a gentleman then.
We'll talk later.
Just watch where you stick the thing.
Poor 007 is going to have this is going to be the first dot in Starfleet history that needs therapy.
It's pregnant.
I don't know. I think there were a few screws loose with him to begin with.
Oh my God. And Doc kept saying over and over again, he kept saying that it's true. It does get larger over time.
And you don't need a microscope.
Oh my God. All right. Apologize to everyone because I'm sure you've heard this because I saw the Cylon light flashing back and forth. However, we did have a Cylon on board. Apparently it was nice. And I asked him, being a Cylon and a robot, why did he always miss all the Vipers and they could never seem to shoot and hit their targets where the humans could, and you guys are robots? And I think he got upset because he was really miffed. And he says, you try fucking aiming at something with your eye bouncing back and forth like a ping pong.
Oh, God.
That makes sense.
That's really bad. That's really bad, yeah. Dad Cylon humor.
He was really upset about that. Well, at any rate, my name is Captain Nathan Adams. We're here with a full crew complement. And if you're a kid and you managed to listen to us so far, you've been lucky, because if you're under the age of 18, or if you're sensitive to bad words, and if you're offended by bad jokes and dirty jokes, you should just turn us off now. Don't even bother listening to us because we've never cut a G version of this show.
I don't think we have, pure,
so this is pure in your face out there. Seriously. And this is not something you should be listening to with your parents. Only Chief can listen to it with his parents because
don't say that.
Individuals. So
I refuse.
They're rugged individuals. Which is really funny because every time Chief says something that's really he shouldn't have said, his mother or his father walks into his cabin and slaps him in the back of his head. Then they go back to the guest quarters inside of the Defiant class ship. So that's pretty cool. We have today my science officer.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer, and I had a really awkward conversation with your future self and your parents. So...
Wait. With my parents, too? They know about my future self? Oh, my God. What's going on with that guy?
He was visiting everyone. He wanted to tell everyone what was going to happen. It was just, I couldn't stop him.
Oh, my God. I have I have a complaint to somebody about this. No. Captain, we need to do something. Find my future self and eject him from the friggin' ship or something.
Airlock
my ass.
Seriously.
That's not me. I look a little younger, so oh God. Oh well.
And I'm sorry to say I have a lot of respect for your parents because they came into the room and it says, please don't ever let my son send us back home. We want to stay on the ship. So
you mean they're permanently on the ship? Oh great.
They want to be
Exactly.
permanently on the ship. Your dad has great ideas for our Etsy shop to set everything up on our things. He's got great ideas, so we might be getting even new merchandise soon. Also, the person that keeps us honest and loves to correct us a lot, really cool, is my first officer.
Hey, this is Patrick. I'm number 1. I'm also the foreign species liaison and the computer guy. And I'm right always, so that's why I correct you.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the person who apparently just met himself,
Let's go.
which was really funny because you're like, allow myself to introduce myself.
Just so long as he doesn't play with himself.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not good.
Rocky walks into the room and says, "Remember me."
Oh, brother.
Ba-dum-ba-dum.
I don't even know what to do now. Hi, everybody. I'm Rocky. I'm the engineer of the show and the ship. And apparently I know where not to stick it. And I'm going to have to find my future self and get him the fuck off the ship. Okay? Where is he? Go get him.
Just look for the
my
trail.
God.
The trail in the hallway.
He just poked his head into my cabin and whispered, "He'll never find me."
Oh, that's freaky.
So I guess this is good because if we get into combat again, 2 of you can fix the ship twice as fast.
Yeah, maybe that's kind of convenient.
Yeah, it is. But no dueling lightsabers. So
Nope, none of that.
No. All right. Now that we have that, we're going to let everybody know our show is being brought to you by Section 31, as well as our Patreon users, not users, because they do use us, but in a most delightful way. Our Patreon members, so thank you so much. And our listeners across multiple platforms, you guys that come every single week to listen to us, we are greatly appreciated. Our numbers and legions of fans have been growing by tens of ones over the month. So we're quite happy about that. So thank you so much. And now this is a chance where I get a chance to use my first officer. Any corrections?
Let me check subspace. And nada. But we're so far out in the Delta Quadrant.
You're lying, sir. I have corrections.
Well, that's your problem, not mine.
It's not officially a Star Trek correction, but we were on that tangent last week about drive-ins, and then we started talking about, I started mentioning a movie.
Speakers? Yeah.
The John Cusack movie I referred to was the other John Cusack movie. So I thought it was Better Off Dead, but the one where they were at the drive-ins was One Crazy Summer. That's the one where they had the boat race and had Demi Moore and Bobcat Goldthwait, and he was a cartoonist. And so Better Off Dead was the other one with the skiing race and Camaro and the kid on the bicycle that wants his $2.
Wasn't Better Off Dead the one with the 2 chicks? One of them has like a hole in their stomach and the other one has her like neck turned, but they can't die.
No, that's a Goldie Hawn movie. What was that?
That was Death Becomes Her.
Yeah.
Death Becomes Her.
That was pretty good too.
It's with Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
It was with Bruce Willis in it. Yeah.
Okay.
Which was a funny movie, actually.
It was great.
So, yeah, it really was a funny movie.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's my corrections. I don't know if we don't officially have any other corrections to correct.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
No, I guess there's no corrections to the corrections, so we can move on from the corrections. Now we're going to go into our news of the week here. Actually, I did a lot of searching, so there's not a whole bunch of stuff happening, but we do find stuff because we never want to disappoint our listeners. So, Heather, what do you have?
Hi, Captain. So this week's news is a Prodigy news item for anyone who has Nickelodeon and wants to show their kids Prodigy. It will be airing this week on Nickelodeon, so you can watch the first season.
That's pretty cool. For anybody who didn't want to buy Paramount Plus, now you can see what everybody's raving about. Mm-hmm. And what about you, number one? What do you have?
Well, being that you and I are going to be at Comic-Con in a couple weeks, we might want to go to Hall H on Saturday because Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Lower Decks, and Star Trek Strange New Worlds will be in Hall H for 12:45 to 2:15.
Hopefully we can get there because the lines for that thing is just ridiculous.
I mean, you have to get in line Friday to get in there for Saturday, basically.
Yeah, it's madness. However, that being said, my first officer actually used his magic once to get access to Hall H. But he being such a great person, we had our science officer on the last ship that was a huge fan of one of the people who were going to appear at Hall H. And he magnanimously blessed her with the ticket.
Oh,
cool.
And that was the guest of the show we had here last time.
Stephanie's awesome. I love that chick.
Yep.
Yeah,
so that was pretty cool. Now, Chief.
Yo. Oh, what you got for
what
news?
What do you got for us news other than your future self?
Well, I was going to say, can I go back in time? Because last week's episode, the other thing that happened, it was very controversial, this aliens thing.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the Star Trek show was ripping off aliens. I had no idea. I'm joking.
Yeah,
of course, I knew it was aliens, but took a poll because Twitter was going ravingly upset because a lot of people were saying they totally ripped it off. It was blatant, plagiarism. And I thought that was a little strong considering how old Aliens is and how much of a wonderful homage it was. But I decided to put a poll out. So we put the poll on Twitter and 37% said it basically, that was an awesome show. And 18% was like, no, it totally ripped off Aliens. And then 45% said, but what about Hemmer?
I love
what
that.
the fuck about Hemmer? So
that's good.
It doesn't matter.
That's the one with the highest poll numbers.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it was a ripoff or not, but Hemmer was fucking dead. Fuck. And I tend to agree with the response to that poll. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Now, if you stop to think about it, how long have people been doing plays and stories and everything?
For how many alien movies are there?
Thousands of years.
Yeah.
So if you stop at every fucking thing is a fucking ripoff of something else. You have only about a basic amount of storylines that you can fit things into. Every romance, somebody wants a girl, they can't get it. Girl's in love with an asshole guy. Eventually gets the girl once the asshole
movie.
shows himself.
That was the Better Off Dead movie.
Oh, I hate that trope.
No matter, and if you get, talking about aliens, alien takes over a person's body and they become something else. The invasion of the body snatchers, the pod, the bat with the triffids, the triffles.
Day of the Triffids?
That's it.
The Triffids were trees.
I mean, the whole UFOs and things.
Like you said, it was an homage.
Yeah.
It was an homage, though. It's more like we love this and we want to share this with you. Kind of like what they did with this episode. It's an homage.
Yeah.
Thank
Homage.
you.
Oh, thank you.
It's a French word.
Yeah.
And that's why I was butchering it.
It means everybody jump into the bed. But it's
Homage à toi?
pretty.
What?
There you go. But you're right, Rocky.
My other piece of news.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a whole thing. I was surprised. We haven't gotten a lot of response like that on Twitter, but that one lit it up. So that was kind of cool. Everyone was really upset over that.
The aliens post that you did on Twitter, how many likes did you get? Because last time I saw it, wasn't it like 400 or something? It was climbing.
Oh, let me see. Let me scroll back to the Nuke It from Orbit one. It was 1,463 likes.
Damn.
Wow.
And that wasn't even our meme. That was somebody else's meme that I just retweeted.
We stole that meme.
We totally stole that. But it was an homage. It was an homage to the creator who... No, it was just a retweet. That's a completely different thing.
So we're guilty of retweeting.
And to me, it wouldn't have been a ripoff until Spock yelled, "Game over, man. Game over."
Right. And then, of course, the other one, somebody put the Gorn head on a Jurassic Park scene, which was just fucking funny. So that one got 430.
I did a meme where it was Tara, Tara from Gone with the Wind, Plantation.
Okay.
Gorn with the Wind.
Gorn with the Wind. Yes.
Oh yeah.
There was a few of those out there. A lot of Gorn lovers.
That works.
My other piece of news, because I was struggling to find news this week, was actually it's just an ad that I saw on Instagram from Science Division, sciencediv.com. It's their 3-year anniversary, which is really cute. They're a couple that has this company, and there's a whole thing on their blog about that, and it's really sweet. But they sell tribbles, and apparently we've got the entire month of July, you can get free shipping with the code SHIPFREE, and it's $5 off the standard size tribble, and they have the giant limited edition tribbles, $10 off with that. So
cool.
I may be blatantly advertising now, like we're not making any money off of this at all. I'm just like shouting out them because I love their tribbles on patrol or whatever they call it, where they take pictures of tribbles doing crazy shit.
So is the link and the promo code going to be in the show notes?
I will probably have to do that since I said it. So yeah.
Okay.
But it's real easy. sciencediv.com for Science Division.
Oh, you don't have to do it because your future self that says he already took care of it. So
right. Yeah, I'll believe that. Yeah, future self is the one who's going to put it in after we're finished recording this.
Stick it in.
Yeah, he said he put it in before you started recording because he's from the future.
Right.
So it's there already. So everyone, when you listen to this show, it'll be there already.
He'll have stuck it in and pulled it out.
No, I when I stick it in, I like to leave it in. What are we talking about?
At least for a little while.
Again, we are not a podcast for kids. Do not listen to this if you are.
No, you got to marinate it. So
Jeez.
Put your right foot in, you put your right foot out.
if you could put your right foot in and out, I don't want anything to do with that.
With your foot?
So-
Are you foot fucking? What are you doing?
I'm feeling very left out of this. I wonder if I should go put on a strap on and join you.
You're welcome to. You know what I also saw? Just one other thing. I got the chance to watch everything all at once. What's it called? With
Everything
Michelle Yeoh.
Everywhere All at Once.
Oh my God, that movie is fucking bonkers.
Oh, I want to see that.
Oh, you have to see it just for the fight scenes.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my God, you guys have to see it for the fight scenes. And
What
it is
is it
not
on?
not kid friendly whatsoever. What did we?
Good.
I rented it on Apple TV, so it's probably
Apple TV.
it might be still a little fresh. You might have to wait a little longer to go get it elsewhere, but it was fucking worth it, man. It was nuts.
Cool.
Okay, I'm gonna have to give a watch to it.
There was some multiverse activity in that show.
And googly eyes, from what I saw in
Yes,
the
there
trailer.
were some googly eyes.
You can watch it on Amazon, on Prime, but I think you have to rent it.
It's still worth it. It was great. Highly recommend.
Okay, on your suggestion, I'll give a what. I'm going to help you find your future self because he keeps popping in my cabin and he's gave me a thumbs up about the movie. So
Editorial while we're doing the show. Great.
yeah,
I think he's doing the rounds around here because he passed by my area too.
He did?
Yeah, you could tell because there is a big anaconda behind him.
yeah. Well, see, that's what I was going to say. 007 says he was skipping rope and it wasn't rope.
What's that song? My Anaconda don't, or what?
None
My
unless you
anaconda
got
don't
buns,
want.
hun.
I love that.
Okay, talking
Let's
about
get the show started.
You got to do your news too,
Excess.
sir.
Yeah, I'm going to go in there. Well, Strange New Worlds is going to be receiving a Legacy Award at the 2022 Hollywood Critics Association and Television Awards coming up on August 14th. So it's going to be a 2-day ceremony. So congratulations. Strange New Worlds is actually hit so hard and so fast among Star Trek fans that it's already outpaced and become the favorite of all the new Treks that are out there. It's
how is it getting a legacy award when it's a brand new show?
Isn't that
amazing.
impressive?
I guess because
Ask my
they're
future
attached
self.
to the what? Yeah, he said it's because it was attached to the Star Trek the original series.
Oh.
Your future self keeps popping in and out, dude. I don't know what is that on the floor?
Can we lock onto him and beam him somewhere else?
Oh my God, I thought that was an earthworm. He just okay, yeah, I'm going to try. Dot, see if you can get a transponder on him and see if you can send. You know what? Section 31 keeps popping in here. Put them to work. Send a broadcast. Let him know that he needs to go back, or at least the temporal police. All right, thanks.
I hope you don't listen to this with your parents at the same time.
I hope you don't listen to this with your parents, with both your future self and you sitting on down next to them in the galley.
I think at that point it causes a paradox. I think there's a paradox point at some point.
Yeah, it's called, I don't know, the grandfather paradox. Don't sit in the same room with your grandfather.
Oh God.
Yeah, don't do that. Okay, I guess we can get ready to get started for this show here. We got our news out of the way. We have our silliness, which is probably not going to end. So let's continue. Whose turn with the recap?
Hi, Captain.
Who's your
It's my
turn?
turn. So this week we did Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 1, Episode 10, A Quality of Mercy. This was the finale for the season, last one. I'm so sad. It first aired July 7th, 2022. Teaser, Future Fuck. The Enterprise are at an outpost, refitting it with new supplies, when the captain of the outpost and his son meet the captain, Captain Pike. Immediately he recognizes the kid's name, Mat Al-Salah. That's one of the kids that is going to die in the future. Bum, 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 oh no. Pike has a panic attack and leaves the room. Una follows. She knows that's the same boy. Pike feels obligated to do something, anything. He has to save them. So he writes an email to all of the children in the crash that day and is about to hit send when the future Admiral Pike shows up. Bum, bum, bum.
That was really freaky. First off, for him to sit there and then his future shows up in a monster maroon that's sparkly was really kind of...
Yeah, that was something that was, as you look closely on the screen, that's not your standard monster maroon outfit.
No, it was not.
It's a modern version of it. And the costume players are going to be really, really unhappy with that.
Yeah, they ticked off because it's already a real pain in the ass to make. So adding the sparkly shit is not going to make people fans. You're right. But it was really wild and unexpected to see future Pike there. You know, that was a really mini cliffhanger for that teaser. It's like,
and he's an admiral and he looks normal.
Yeah.
Well, that's because, as he said, he changed the future. But he's come back to tell him, nope, you cannot do that.
I think that's the next section though, right?
Well, he came back. So yeah, you see a silhouette in the dark and you're like, who is that? And then steps into the light and wow, you know? So, and of course his hair is still flawless, but whatever product he uses.
It made him look good as an older person.
But it was really wild.
Even the Romulan War won't mess with Pike's hair.
Next section.
Well, no, the Romulan War is over 100 years old, so it's not really a spoiler, is it?
Well, coming up it will be.
Do you have any idea who that chick is at the very beginning? Is that like a new girlfriend of his?
That was the old girlfriend from the first episode when they're in the snow.
Apparently she was in the first episode,
from the very first one. Yep, she was.
They were in the snowy mountains and she was making pancakes or something. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's Melanie Scorfano, who played Winona Earp.
Okay.
On the sci-fi series for like 4 or 5 seasons. She's amazing. I love her.
She is. And she was there, when they came to get him to go back. But it was kind of funny. You see in the beginning when he's there and the sun comes up all exuberant. And then he realizes...
The sun was a fanboy.
Yeah, big fanboy. But imagine
he was like, I got to model the Enterprise and everything. And that, and if you watch the subtitles, it even goes further into it. I'm like, oh, wow, this kid's totally a fanboy. He's like, is it true you can feel when the ship's at warp, this and that, and this and that? He was like asking all the questions.
That was so adorable. I felt so bad for him.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because Pike's like,
really is
my God.
And he just tunes out.
Pike got slapped upside the head with a time stone and was like, whoa.
I mean, it might as well have been, someone walk up to him and ask him if he knows where Sarah Connor is, because it was like... Pike was like freaked out.
I was thinking he reminded me of the actors at Comic-Con and the Star Trek convention where they have like a seriously fanboy or fangirl come up to them and they're like, I need to go to the bathroom or something. Yeah, that's it. Go to the bathroom. You get out.
You can just imagine if you go up to like a similar thing happened to me with Danny Trejo. I go up to Danny Trejo and I go talking to him. About, how I was a fan and followed him since Desperado and everything else. And he looks at me and his eyes just glaze over. And I went, okay, I'm going to just walk away now.
I thought he said, I got to go take a shit. And he left you.
No.
Because you mispronounced his name.
At any rate, I walked away. Danny Trejo. I walked away and he just kept kind of staring off into space. And it's like, yeah, okay.
Might have been high.
I'm done. So I can feel how that kid felt.
They get it a lot.
That's true.
Even Whoopi had that happen where she had to go to the bathroom and she had fans follow her in the bathroom, sliding her picture under the stall, being like, can you sign this? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was funny. And she said how she she had her water bottle sprinkle some water.
Yeah, that was
awesome. Them out.
Tinkle, tinkle, little star.
Oh my God.
Now, did you guys recognize the title reference for this show?
A Quality of Mercy. No, I did not. Aside from the word mercy, what's this about?
It's also from William Shakespeare. The last episode was from William Shakespeare. This is from William Shakespeare. Only this is from the play The Merchant of Venice.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
And if you watch The Twilight Zone, there's also an episode with the same name that features the actor Leonard Nimoy in it.
Oh, okay.
Oh. That's pretty cool
Isn't
connection.
that
Thank you.
special?
Yeah.
That's a cool. See, you always dig up the nicest stuff. That's pretty cool.
Aw, thanks, Captain.
I guess we can go to as we bask in the afterglow of that good piece of trivia, because now I'm going to have to watch that Twilight Zone episode. I guess we can go to the next section.
Aye, Captain. Act 1. Time Crystal Coffee. I swear to God, I did not make this coffee. Future Pike... well, maybe. Future Pike offers past Pike a drink. Watch out, he spiked it with time crystals. I taught him that move. Future Pike warns that the letter is going to destroy the future. Psh, how bad can it be if the kids are alive and I'm an admiral that's looking pretty good? Well, apparently, actions have consequences. This is the first domino in a catastrophic chain reaction. End of the world type shit. Time for time crystals. Touch it. Touch it, bitch. Touch it. Yeah. Okay.
Whoa.
Pike is transported to the original series episode Balance of Terror, an alternate timeline where Pike is in Kirk's place as captain of the ship. We start with a wedding and a very confused Captain Pike, who is fortunately saved by a red alert. It's the Romulans. They are on their way and will arrive in 2 minutes. Just enough time to talk with Spock and figure out what the fuck is going on. It's been 7 years. They are 7 years in the future, and Spock does a mind meld so he can understand where Pike is coming from. Spock tells him that the accident was 6 months ago. There were no children to be saved, and no one was hurt. Spock figures out that if the accident didn't happen, Pike would still be a captain of the Enterprise at this very crucial moment in time. This is a moment in history where the future hangs in the balance of what happens next. And the only way to find out is for Pike to experience it. Pike goes back to the bridge and doubles and triple checks everything. He also hails the nearest ship for backup. Luckily, it's La'an. Woohoo! And
what's
Father...
the name of the ship?
Yeah, it's La'an. It's La'an's ship.
What's the name of it?
Oh, I don't know. What's the name of her ship?
USS Farragut.
Oh, okay, it's the Farragut ship. And Father Al-Sahah is trapped inside a burning iron asteroid. The Romulan ship returns, yet Enterprise is out of range. They are powerless to stop the Romulans as they blow up the outpost with Father Al-Sahah on it. La'an arrives along with Kirk's brother, James T. Kirk. They go to the conference room to discuss what to do next when Spock mentions the cloaking device and how it requires a lot of energy to power it. It's causing the Romulans to fly blind, making Enterprise invisible to the ship's sensors. Kirk jumps in with an idea. Let's follow them, and they will think the ship is an echo of their past behavior. They can't wait for Starfleet to reply. They must act now. Before agreeing, Pike has a one-to-one with Kirk's brother. What kind of person is Captain Kirk? His brother replies, well, he's a deck of wild cards who doesn't like to lose. He's a pain in the ass that also likes to bend the rules. But he is a good captain. Pike decides to trust him. Meanwhile, Spock hacks into a shower cam on the Romulan ship, and now we could finally see what the Romulans look like. Oh god, they're fugly. Turn it off! Turn it off! Turn it off!
He was doing peekaboo.
Does everyone know that Paul Wesley is now the 5th actor to play Kirk?
Mm-hmm. Who were the others, do you know?
Shatner, of course, Chris Pine, Jimmy Bennett, and then Sandra Smith portrayed Kirk while in Janice Lester's body.
Nice. Which episode?
Turnabout Intruder.
Very cool.
And you also have Jim Belushi played Kirk. Carol Burnett played Kirk.
Okay.
That's not Star Trek canon.
Well, in my head canon it is. But okay. But that part there where Kirk, first off, it was a surprise because we were led to believe that we wouldn't see Kirk until next season. Mm. So that was actually a surprise when they went there. And when I recognized...
they kept that under wraps.
Yeah, they did a very good job of keeping it under wraps. And when I recognized that they were doing Balance of Terror, I squealed like a bathtub toy because that is one of my absolute favorite episodes, and I was mesmerized.
If you paid attention to the opening credits, they put Paul Wesley in, special guest star.
Yeah, I didn't enjoying the music, so
Yeah.
It really.
I got a hammer when he came on screen.
Oh, geez. I really like that they did an exact shot for shot of the original series Balance of Terror, which if you want to see that's season 1, episode 15. And it's really interesting how they incorporated that old episode into this as a new timeline, as if what would Pike have done versus what Captain Kirk would have done, and how that would have been so different.
It's not shot for shot. I mean, there are portions.
They actually, in the ready room with Will Wheaton, they said that they actually watched certain shots over and over again before they shot the same one, and they framed it exactly the same. Yeah. They blocked it exactly the same. They had the same angles.
Yeah, what I'm saying though is the whole episode isn't a shot for shot recreation.
No, not the entire episode.
Well, because some people on Facebook and Twitter were like, "Oh, it's 100% recreation." I'm like,
"No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
No, it isn't. No, but they did it a fantastic job, because I've watched that." Like the episode over and over again, the Balance of Terror, because I thought it was so well done. And so to see, even to the point where the guy is in the asteroid and he's saying they're underneath, all of that iron, solid iron, and even the explosion, they added some oomph because, special effects is better.
That dude flew, man.
Yeah.
When shit went boom, he flew.
Yeah, he got sucked out into space.
But no, they had the distinct thing I remember about the original is shit was on fire. Mm-hmm. And there was flame in front of the camera and flame behind the camera. They did that exact same framing of the shot and the fire. And yeah, it was completely channeling.
I was nowhere near the camera.
No, and it was done well, and you sit and you have a chance to see. And this episode I really loved. You had a chance to see different command styles.
Yes, indeed. That was the big difference between Pike and Kirk. Yeah, that was it's basically a big episode to say, what if? Mm-hmm. What if? Yeah. And what if you did this and acted this way? And it's very interesting how things went. That's for sure.
Yeah, I watched this, then I watched Balance of Terror, then I watched it again.
Yeah, me too.
It's kind of cool because now you know why they sent Pike away when the Klingon War started.
Don't do the thing. I'm gonna do the thing.
With Pike, they're like, he's a diplomat. Just put his ass somewhere where he's not gonna try to talk, because we're gonna have to do shit that goes against Federation.
Yeah, you don't want him to go talk to the Klingons because they're just gonna get upset.
Yeah.
You think the Klingons are upset already, but have a conversation with Pike. That's not gonna work.
No. So, and when they turn around and the ship came, the Farragut, and you hear that it's by Captain Kirk, and it's like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. So that was really, it was a tingling moment for that whole
There were a lot of tingling moments, especially when the theme music came in, the recognizable Romulan theme came in there. Yeah, I was all goosebumps at that point.
It was hammers all around.
Yeah.
I also liked how they had future Pike keep finishing past Pike's sentences. And you could see, past Pike, his face. He's like, "You asshole, stop that."
You're like, I knew you were going to say that.
That was pretty cool.
Well, I like that Pike is, of course, smart enough to say, "Look, I know you look like a future me, but prove it. You got to prove it first."
Yeah.
Sir Neighs A Lot.
That was funny. That's funny. And again, it kind of shows Ensign Mounts. I wonder if he had anything to do with that, because that kind of shows his sense of humor. To have
have something so tragic start with some silly sounding name.
And Sir Neighs A Lot. That was funny. But it was really kind of neat to see how Pike mentally tried to balance himself and understand what's going on, what to do. Because he's being thrust on a ship where he doesn't know everybody per se, just a handful of officers.
Yeah, he got chucked into it, especially, what an awkward place to get thrown into a wedding. But thankfully, he was saved by the red alert.
Mm-hmm. Or to get a hug by La'an when you're not expecting it.
That was impressive. Was that in this section?
That was next section.
Not yet. Next section.
I liked how Spock... Basically, well, first the Spock's like, let's go see the doctor. Do you think we see the doctor?
You're hot, dude.
He's like, no, just mind meld. It's like, well, that'll work too. And that instantly convinced Spock.
I swear to God, Vulcans are addicted to mind melding. It's like they are like, any chance they get. You want to do a mind meld? Yeah, I'm up for it. I like doing that.
So his uniform fits him so well. He looked, he can mind meld me any day of the week.
Well, he likes to mind meld because it's perfect excuse to do inappropriate touching, and you have a valid reason.
I also like that.
How would you feel if I go to your face, Chief, and touch your face and goes, I'm going to touch your face, and I don't give any reason or subterfuge or anything. I just touch your face.
Which head are you touching?
It's his face, not
his
the
face.
I wasn't talking about his angry helmet warrior. So to reach out and to do that.
It's a good thing I'm not Vulcan, because I'd definitely offer to go mind meld later if you want.
But it was, again, I was just mesmerized by this whole section here. It was done really well.
And also, Spock completely laid out the entire scenario, really in a standard monotone Spock spiel. He said everything. It's here's what's happened. It must be a different captain that is going to need to go through this. And the reason you're here is because this. Spock knows what's going on the moment. I just was blown away. It was especially on the rewatch, how obvious that was. Spock is spilling it all out in front of you.
And isn't this where we decode the message and we get to see inside the Romulan ship? Or is that?
Yeah, we see inside the Romulan ship.
Yeah, that happens later.
Yeah.
In this section, though.
Yeah, when then you have...
Yeah, because the signal was bouncing through the comet tail or whatever, and he could...
And Spock hacked into the shower cam.
Yeah, and everyone's everyone sees the Romulans for the first time, and then everyone's like, "Do?" And they're looking at Spock
yeah, it looks just like a Vulcan we know.
Excuse me.
No, what's her face? She was really pissed off. She played more of a racist type of a character. It's it's a Romulan.
Yeah, she was really upset this episode.
She was mirroring Lieutenant Stiles, who was really in Mountains of Terror. That was really pissed.
It was interesting that she would be the person to do that. That's who they stuck in the character or stuck in the right chair to do that.
Notice she wasn't in her normal spot.
Yeah, she was sitting at ops and not at the helm. She was on the right side, so that's technically ops. So I guess she got promoted over the several years.
Yeah.
Well, but did you realize? Okay, so in this one they've got what's the other crew member's name? What's her name?
Ortegas.
With a J.
She's the Asian crew member.
Yeah.
Was
it Jess or something? I think it was Jess.
Mitchell.
Maybe that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, Mitchell. So Mitchell is sitting where George Takei would normally sit, and Ortegas was sitting where Stiles was sitting in Mountains of Terror. So it was kind of interesting.
So things have changed, but we still haven't figured out where everybody is and who has changed or what has happened. So I thought that was really cool to see that. And again, you see what they look like, and there's the realization, oh my God, the Romulans look like Spock. Is Spock one? And we don't know exactly how everybody's going to handle that until the next section.
Just before the end, he gets a chance to chat with Sam Kirk and is starting to ask what kind of a captain Captain Kirk is. And he literally spells it out exactly what kind of captain Captain Kirk is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hot-headed.
He's pain in the ass. Impulsive. He bends the rules. He's a fine captain, but,
doesn't listen.
He doesn't listen. He does all these things. He's pig-headed. He does his own shit. But he's a good captain.
Doesn't take anyone's advice.
Yeah, reprogram the Kobayashi Maru. So.
I know, he cheated.
So.
But he's a fine captain.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's are you biased? He is your brother.
We did say he's a pain in the ass, didn't he?
Yeah, but he admitted that he is a good captain, though. He had to admit that his brother is a good captain. So, and that's what he ended on that note. So that was pretty cool.
It's interesting if you approach this episode from somebody who has not seen the original series. I wonder how it all soaks into them. Because that's kind of interesting. Well, it's Pike has been your only Star Trek Enterprise captain at this point, and you're pretty sure, Pike's can't do anything wrong. He's a great captain. Everyone looks up to him. And then you hear about this Kirk guy from his brother, and it sets up a dynamic that we're going to see the Kirk-Pike attitudes, the differences.
Okay.
I guess we can go to the next section.
Captain. Act 2. Kirk, the Hothead. The Romulan sees them and attacks, but Pike wants peace and diplomacy. The Romulan captain agrees, but the rest of the Romulan crew are pissed. One of the junior officers goes behind his captain's back to notify the Romulan fleet. Time for a meeting. Do we go to war? Attack? Kirk comes up with a pincer move to neutralize the Romulans as they pass through the comet. Pike secretly wonders if Kirk is the reason everything goes to shit. Surprise! The Romulans see them and attack. Pike and Kirk's ship are badly damaged. La'an is transported to the ship and hugs a surprised Pike. Kirk, on the other hand, is pissed. You flinched. You didn't destroy the ship. You didn't destroy them. Pike, don't be so hot-headed. It's your ship that was the one that was destroyed. Back on the bridge, Pike sends the Romulans a voicemail. We are offering a ceasefire. We want to talk. The Romulans decide to FaceTime back. Uh-oh.
That section, you're dealing with an alien species you don't understand or don't know why. And he basically, I agree with what the Romulan said. You just flinched. You turned around. You're saying that, okay, we fought you and now you want to be peaceful. So you obviously must be weak, or else why would you want peace right off the bat?
It's also, if I look at it from the Romulan point of view, it's pretty fucking devious. I'm like, we're blowing the hell out of you, and you want to say, be peaceful? Why aren't you angry? What's up with that? What could you possibly, you want to work with me to do something? I mean, what I think you're trying to get at something I want to watch my back around this,
Isn't it kind of unheard of to have a space battle and then be like, okay, let's give each other 2 hours to fix our ships and then we'll, finish the space battle?
Yeah, time out, hold on, time out.
Time out, yeah.
Really, let's go, okay, I just destroyed one of your ships and hurt you, and you want to call for peace now?
Yeah, it's like, okay, so we're winning and you want to give up. Like, what the hell?
It's very suspicious.
Yeah.
And if it's not suspicious, it's certainly fucking weak. I mean, the Romulans have a point. Like, what's up with these Starfleet fools?
Mm-hmm.
It's the Romulan in the library with the candlestick.
Really?
They must be thinking Starfleet has no idea how to do space battles or war.
Well, it's like, wait, you want to talk with us? Really? Yeah. You want to talk us out? I'm beating the fuck out of you. I'm going to beat your head into a pulp. It's okay. I don't need to talk about it.
Like, we're fighting and you want to FaceTime right now? We're in the middle of fighting. Seriously? You want to FaceTime? Talk it out?
It was really kind of bad call on his part. But I do like how they show Kirk was more of a diplomat.
He tried.
Than you would be, because he could have just went try to curse out Pike, but he didn't. He actually was very, I thought, diplomatic in how he expressed how he thought that was a bad idea. He's like, oh, those are some, it's like the cowboy movie. Those are some pretty words. You just say it.
Your pretty mouth.
It was respectful though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very respectful.
You've got this other captain in Starfleet. He's got the flagship of the fleet. I mean, it's kind of an interesting conversation to have from Captain Kirk's point of view. I'm surprised he wasn't even more hot-headed than he was.
Did you notice that they kept the exact same ship design for the Bird of Prey as they did in the original series?
Yeah, they did.
It was very
They just made it look prettier. They made it look prettier.
like the plasma weapon in this.
Yeah,
I think it carried forward to the way it looks cool. Now, I have a complaint about the original series, not the originals, because those looked awesome to me growing up. But then they redid it with the computer enhancements of the quote unquote modern day CG from like the 90s. And I think the plasma weapon didn't look as cool just because it was all computerized and stuff. But this one looked powerful and dangerous and looked great.
It did. It had all the little, like what you expect.
It looked like my butt after Chipotle.
Oh my goodness.
That's a little too much
information coming out.
And you know what? When you're reversing warp with it's approaching you and you can't run away fast enough, that's terrifying.
That's when you eat Chipotle.
They did not have that part.
You blast your
They didn't have that part in this one. He did not.
They did not
reverse the ship.
There was a lot of stuff we missed out of the original series episode because this is a completely different event based off of the same situations.
Speaking of the original series one, did you guys know that the captain of the Romulan ship in the original series is the same actor who later played Sarek?
I did. But it's funny. Growing up as a kid, I had no fucking clue. But when I became a Trekkie, that was like, oh, really? I didn't know that. That's fascinating. How cool is that?
He's the only actor in Star Trek who's played a Romulan, a Vulcan, and a Klingon.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And he was a go-to person. He was a really awesome actor.
Was he the first one that kind of repeated roles and did different things within the same show, being the same actor, multiple roles?
Oh, was he?
I don't know.
I'm not
is
sure
he
about
actually
that.
the first one that started that? Because that's definitely a trend that follows through Star Trek. It's just kind of interesting.
Jeffrey Combs is like...
He's another one.
Yeah, he is
like
the...
brilliant.
So this guy came in the original series Balance of Terror, which was season 1, episode 15. So he was in the very beginning of season 1. It was the first 15 episodes. And I don't think they had another actor in the first 15 episodes that played multiple characters like he did.
There you go.
No,
I mean, it
he's
was
such a talented actor.
so good. And that's such a great role for someone to play in that original show.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to kick back into this specific episode, just the conversation in the conference room or the ready room where they're suspicious of Spock and they're discussing that the pointy-eared elephant's in the room. You know, that scene. I liked that they had the discussion with Mbega. He's saying, look, we don't want a war. We don't want to destroying them is not the solution. And, you know, and then Ortegas is like, well, they started it. And he's like, it's not a schoolyard fight.
Yeah.
I love that he's bringing reason, because is this all really worth this death and fighting and stuff? Is it really, you know, it's a very cool ethical question that somebody brings up, which is very important. And I also enjoyed the fact that Ortegas is like, well, I'm against war too, but the solution is killing Romulans. It's like, dude, that's crazy. So it's an interesting attitude, you know. It's kill or be killed, or should we talk about it? It's just kind of multiple personalities.
I like she kind of like grudgingly gave Spock some respect when he says, if there are an offshoot of my race, as I believe they are, you know, I agree with Ortega.
Yeah.
Kill them all.
Yeah. And even Spock's like, It's like, well, even Spock says so. I'm okay with that. I loved how they, they didn't have, while they did have a little bit of friction like the original series episode did, but Ortegas was not entirely completely racist about it. So I think that was cool too.
It was.
The other thing that I love that they pointed out, I don't remember if they did this in the original show. You know, it's suspicious that Spock had the ears, but what was more suspicious is the timing of it. And I thought that was interesting. I don't remember that thought of,
No, it wasn't in Balance of Terror.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting thing to think about. It's like another level of, well, wait a minute. Why would they be showing this to us now? Are they fucking with us? I think that was kind of cool.
That was cool. And they also missed the part where Spock held the part of the outpost in his hand and said, this is the hardest substance that we know.
And then cracked it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The plasma weapon did a lot of damage.
But it was, I guess they put that part out because Pike really wasn't interested in it. He wanted to sue for peace and not have the war part of it.
Yeah, well, it's a different, it is a different event of, version of this event. So a lot of the things aren't going to be the same.
No, you're correct. And they probably took into account variations that happened during that timeline from when he basically saved himself from getting his face messed up and saved those kids' lives. It's a butterfly effect in the extreme right there, what he did.
Yeah. Well, like he said, it's the first domino of a catastrophic chain reaction.
Yeah.
The first of many events.
And you keep thinking, while the show, at least I was, when the show was going on, what could be so bad that happened to that? How many things he said is worse than you can imagine? And I'm like, what could be worse than that? And so we don't find out until later on. But it was really an intense scene coming up here. And I like when the Romulan captain, which was similar from the original series, is like, I'm just tired of fighting and killing. Let's just I
really liked him. I really liked him.
I did too. I liked that guy.
I even looked up the actor. It was Matthew McFadzean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember what he's been in, but I really liked his demeanor. It just really worked for me. He's been on The Handmaid's Tale. He's been on Hardy Boys. He's been on...
What was he on The Handmaid's Tale?
He was a doctor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his demeanor was really dead on.
It was.
I loved that, and he carried the thing that Sarek did, or not Sarek, but the actor who played
Mark
Sarek.
Lenard.
Yeah, Mark Lenard did originally. Because that role was just such a wonderful role.
It was.
Yeah, so I love that equaled, the original. I thought that was just great stuff.
And the guy that the asshole second in command.
Yeah, there was a little bit going on there too. That I think happens a little bit more next section where you find out what happened, what the guy does. But yeah, they had the second in command like being a little bit more of a hot shot than the commander.
Well, he gets his upcomings at Act 4.
Yeah, yes, he does.
Oh, he's like, oh shit, I wish I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, why did you talk about that?
Right? He made that phone call he shouldn't have made.
I'm regretting my decision now.
Yeah.
Well, you won't have long to regret it.
It's like a parallel to Pike's side of things. We definitely learned that Lon is a hugger in this section, though.
But I get the feeling that there was something that went on between Pike and Luan.
So did I. Because that was a really nice hug.
Yeah, I got that feeling too.
Yeah, and then he acts surprised.
Did you notice her hair was down?
And then
her hair was down.
Yeah, and then she turns around and looks at him and says, "Why? What? Are you not okay with this?" It's like, okay, there was definitely some undercurrent or something that went on.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Yeah, that's for certain. You know, because she hugged him, not like
cheating on Captain Batal with Lon.
I don't think he's cheating because if they're not there, that's like a separate thing going on. I think he's got like an arrangement. I don't think he's got a commitment. I think Pike's a player.
Friends with benefits.
Yeah,
because she gave him a hug that was more than a regular friend hug. That was a hug.
Or you're just reading into it.
Or we could be horny and you're just reading into it. Yeah.
But it's so unusual for the character. I mean, for that character to be so stoic.
I mean, how many people have you seen her hug?
Yeah, but again, it's 7 years in the future, and we don't know what's happened to her during those 7 years.
That's true.
And she's been serving on a ship with Captain Kirk, so any
what
woman's
Pike
gonna
has done to her. Yeah.
Did Captain Kirk do something to her?
She was so happy to see Pike after all his time with Kirk. Had to give him a big hug.
She's like, get away from him.
Thank God.
He won't keep his hands off
you're not a player.
You're not a horn dog.
I can finally take a shower in peace.
Yeah. When she was hugging him, she's whispering in his ear. She's like, "Can I come back to the Enterprise, please?
Save me.
Please.
Need a transfer.
Just beam me into Shuttle Bay."
Just make sure Spock doesn't use the shower cam.
Oh my God.
But it was definitely a part there where you can see the Centurion. He's explaining to him, I don't want to fight anymore. Let's just call it quits. So listen to what I say, because how many years have you been in command, you little asshole? Fix the engines and then the weapons. Okay.
I love that, how the fight was more towards ageism and like, I'm old and wise. You are young and you have no idea what you're doing. You need to listen to me. You've only been doing 3.
Yeah, the seniority only gets you so far, apparently, in the Romulan fleet.
And then he's like, I worked with your uncle. Like, don't you even come here and tell me what do you do.
Yeah, it's like your uncle was a great warrior and he's puffing his chest, but his death was stupid. It was wasteful. We lost a good officer. So yeah, I get that. And the guy, he just like, he should have just don't go away mad, just go away. But he went away mad.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
It's a Blondie song.
That's next section though, guys.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Next section then.
Should we do that? Next section?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Act 3, break time. Pike gives a great speech. He tries to convince the Romulan captain to sit down and negotiate, but the best he can get is 2 hours of peace so they can repair their ships. The Romulan crew is pissed, and they think their captain is weak. The captain retorts that he's old and wise and does not make decisions based on ego. Green-ass whippersnappers. Pike has anxiety, while Spock would make a good therapist and a good town gossiper. Una isn't here because she's in prison. They're interrupted by Kirk just when it starts to get juicy. Kirk wants a plan B, a fake backup army just in case. The Romulans don't know that it will take weeks for Starfleet to get there. Pike agrees to lend Kirk a shuttle so he can execute his plan. 2 hours are up. Pike calls the Romulans asking for peace, not war. The Romulan captain is tired of war too. Just then, a fleet of Romulan ships appears, looking very intimidating.
Yeah, when that happened, I thought the first thing is like, they were planning on doing this shit in the first place because all those Romulan ships got there way too freaking quick.
Yeah, they
So
did.
they were
They
waiting for him to come back after he destroyed the outpost, and they were planning on just rolling all over into Federation space anyway.
Well, the second in command did say that the reason for their trip was to test the strength
weapon.
of the Federation. So,
Well, and he sent for help. The subcommander stepped over his bounds and said, "Hey, come on over here. We got somebody to destroy." And the whole fleet shows up.
Basically. Yeah, this old fart that's in front of us, the boomer that's in charge of the ship doesn't want to fight.
That's exactly it.
Subcommander's a millennial.
I think the subcommander went to Cobra Kai or something because he's like, strike first, strike hard, no mercy.
And then the kid's like, okay, boomer.
those millennial subcommanders, man.
Right?
Seriously.
The kids these days, they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
They're like sweeping the cell.
Those pointy-eared hobgoblins.
It's like, oh my God. And then so they all came up, and then Pike is like, oh shit, what do we do? And Kirk says,
And who to the rescue?
yeah, let me go ahead and get a shuttlecraft. I'll take care of it. And this is like, well, what are you gonna do? Just let me go. I'll take care of it.
I love that Kirk had a plan. He's always had a plan. He's got plans. He's very useful. He's incredibly resourceful. That's what I think I like about Kirk is he's still, he's Kirk. He's got that out of box thinking mentality. He'll just come up with something that's a great idea.
He is kind of a schemer.
Kind of, yeah. He's always been a schemer. It's a no-win scenario. He likes to stay away from,
Yeah, I forgot the phrase, the exact quote, but they said with Kirk, you do what you always do, Jim. You take a small chance and then you find a way to snatch us out of the jaws of defeat. And he does that. Even when in Wrath of Khan, they think he's going to be trapped in an asteroid forever, and he's not. He's got his backup has backups.
Yeah, he's got plans, man. He's always scheming on stuff.
Yeah.
That's why we love Kirk, because he can do that kind of shit.
We get the ominous part coming up there. We don't know how important this part is when Spock says, I'm going to personally take over repairing the weapons.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about him not drinking coffee.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, he didn't drink coffee either, did he?
I thought it's like he knows about the time crystals in the coffee.
Yeah, he knew better. I unfortunately fell into that trap from Heather way too many times.
I mean, everyone in the Federation knows about Heather's time crystal coffee.
But he's like, what do you drink? Tea? I got you. You want some tea, Spock? Come on, have some tea.
Yeah.
He's like, no,
He's
thank
like-
you.
Oh, that was funny.
It was great. It's
He's like, I've been roofied too many times to accept any drinks from anyone.
That actually made me snicker and snort. That was funny. And he's like, would you like some coffee, Spock? No, Captain, I don't drink coffee. What do you drink? Tea. Would you like some tea? No.
It's like when I go to somebody's house and it's like, hey, Rocky, you want a drink? I'm like, no, thank you. It's like, we got some drinks. We got this. No, I don't. Yeah. When you're not thirsty, you're not thirsty. Don't give me anything.
It's just funny. It's like you said, I go to your cabin and it's like, hey, would you like some vodka? No, I don't want any vodka. Oh, do you have rum? I like rum. Yeah, I got rum. I don't want it. No. Just want to know if you had it. It's just really kind of funny. And he does it with such a straight face.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then Pike's like, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah. So now Pike is sitting there knowing he's vastly outnumbered. And you can see in his mind, it's like, what the hell am I going to do?
Talk your way out of this one.
But Kirk comes back with a bunch of garbage scouts, but they don't know they're garbage scouts.
Yeah, it's like, they don't know what they don't know. It's like, oh, okay.
This is our fleet of warships.
They don't know what our fleet looks like. This is going to be a good trick, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. As long as they don't scan them and find out that we don't have weapons on board, we're good.
Or start a war.
They don't think Romulans do any scanning or anything. But, it's a good bluff. I like the bluff. If you can bluff as good as Kirk can bluff, then maybe they got a chance.
Yeah, it definitely was a bluff. That unfortunately, even with all the pretty words that Pike said, didn't work because he's like, hey, your ship crossed over and we have proof. And then the Romulan woman is like, oh, you do have proof? Let me see the video.
And that's in the next section. But yeah, that's...
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
We're blowing right through this thing. The only thing we did not touch on that I think is very important is in the scene in the Jeffries tubes, we hear a voice.
Yes.
Scotty!
Yes.
Oh, that was squeal moment. How can I forget that part? Oh, my God.
That was a triple hammer.
Okay, so who did I didn't get a chance to look into this. Is that actually a Scotty voice? Who's doing the voice?
It sounded like him.
Sounded exactly like him.
Yeah, no,
It might have been his son.
It was an actor.
I mean,
Was this his son?
I'm looking forward to next season just because of that. And I know everyone's like, and I'm with everyone too. I mean, Hemmer was so cool as an engineer. I'm going to miss Hemmer greatly, and I could have used many seasons with him. But
Me too.
The whole idea of an Enterprise with a Scotty, that's a whole nother, we have not explored this, and I'd be curious to see what kind of stories are they going to tell engineering wise with Scotty, maybe coming up in the ranks, or maybe just coming aboard the Enterprise and setting stuff up. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be awesome. It's a wonderful, delightful curiosity.
Oh man, it wasn't his son. It was somebody named Matthew Wolf who did the voice for Scotty.
And he was the third actor to portray that role, Montgomery Scott.
Yeah, he voiced it. So it was Matt Wolf who did it, not I'm not
Chris,
what you call
Chris Doohan? Is it Chris?
Yeah, not Chris.
Yeah,
Doohan.
it wasn't Doolin's son.
Yeah.
I thought
Doohan.
it was, but that was a really cool moment when he was in the Jeffries tube and you heard his voice.
Yeah, it was nerding out Trekkies over here. Another thing that, the people who haven't seen the original series, first time around, what are they thinking about all this? They're like, what the fuck was that voice?
Mm-hmm.
He's a voice actor, this guy, and he's done a lot of different roles on video games, including Call of Duty 3, Star Wars, The Old Republic, Uncharted, the Nathan Drake series, Mafia 3, Crisis at the Planet of the Apes, the VR.
The video game style.
Yeah, so he's done a lot of video games. Oh, and apparently his animated movies include Hotel Transylvania 2 and Rio.
He did a good job with the voice because it definitely made me jump when I heard it. I was quite happy to hear that. So that was really amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, totes.
So thank you for bringing that part up.
I'm an engineer, not a miracle worker, Mr. Spock. Die. Oh my God, I just died.
That was really, really good.
I squealed.
Thank you for bringing that to my memory, because I would have been listening to the show later and get pissed at myself that I didn't remember that. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Guess we can go to the next section.
Aye, Captain. Act 4. Oops, I did it again. Bum, bum. On the Romulan ship, a junior officer admits that he contacted headquarters and called for backup. The Romulan captain is furious. Throw him in the brig! The Romulans want total and complete surrender. Pike shows up with an army of mining drones, but the Romulans don't know what their warships look like. It's enough to bluff, but please don't get in a fight. Pike calls the Romulans back, and hey, look, we got an army too. You guys destroyed 3 of our outposts, and we have video proof. The Romulan commander agrees and ends up destroying the ship with our friendly Romulan captain on board, culling the herd. I'm not crying, you're crying. The Romulan commander doesn't want peace. I was so upset about that. The Romulan commander doesn't want peace. Peace is weakness. Now we know what easy targets the Federation is. Pike accidentally started a multi-year war with the Romulans, killing millions and turning Spock into a veggie. Future Pike appears. Spock's future is so important that this alters the timeline drastically. Every time Pike tries to change his path, Spock dies, or he ends up being completely incapacitated with burns and being crippled. His fate, unfortunately, is, end of the world type of work that he has to do. So it's pretty important that he stays alive. Kirk interrupts saying, well, he would have attacked. And Pike laughs and then just starts a conversation. You know what, dude? Just tell me about yourself. Just tell me all about yourself. Later, Pike touches the time crystals and returns back home. He deletes the letters to the kids and looks up Kirk's profile. Spock appears and Pike confides in him. I learned that some fates are inescapable, and if you try to escape it, that fate will be transferred to someone else. Spock says, "Is that why you are very glad to see me? Aw, I love you, man. I love you too, bro. Bro hug." Pike is happy to be back. Starfleet Command arrives just in the nick of time to deal with this confrontation and meets Pike and Number One in the transporter room. Unfortunately, they are not here for this little problem that they had. Instead, when they arrive, they immediately arrest Una and take her to prison because they finally found out that she is genetically altered. What the hell?
This section was full of the goodness part of it because, one, it was a really good bluff. I will say it was a good bluff. And then the fact that we get the same quality of character from the original series with the Romulan Captain was like, this is our duty. We're men of duty, you know, and it's like
you said duty.
In a different time. It's like in a different time we could have been friends, and so they still had that part that was really resonated and touched. That was good.
One. That's a big one. That resonated with me too. I was just looking at my notes. My note wrote that the Romulan he even said he was happy to accept his fate. And that just went zing right on me because this is all about fate and Pike's fate and the changing of the fate. And sometimes you just can't change fate. Things are going to happen. That's fate. You can't change it.
So then you have the contrast of the Romulan captain who accepts his fate versus Pike who doesn't accept his fate.
Doesn't want to
accept it.
Which is a pain in the ass because Subcommander Dickhead didn't accept his fate and called the fleet in.
Well, you know what? I was kind of happy in a way. I was sad that the Romulan captain died, but I was happy that fuckhead didn't know what hit him.
He's like, what?
When he was in jail, he didn't see what was going to happen.
He had no idea because, people don't like snitches, No,
he just woke up.
He's like, I didn't realize I was committing suicide. Shit.
Yeah. He was just trying to kiss ass. Nobody likes an ass kisser. Yeah, he's a brown noser. It was a brown noser, and the Romulans have, the green blood, but they were brown nosing. We'll figure that one out.
He squealed and it basically hurt himself more trying to be spiteful. I know better. So what the hell?
And it definitely shows what kind of fleet the Romulans are, what the Starfleet's dealing with, because they're like, oh yeah, our super secret starship with the plasma weapon and all this and that you'd have evidence. Let me show you that ship. Boom! They blow the fuck out of it.
It really reminds me of life where you see someone who's like, oh, I'm going to try to screw with you. And then they end up getting screwed in return from their own actions.
And that's exactly what happened, And you also, during this section, had a chance to see, again, the type of Captain Kirk is, because as the Enterprise is getting hammered, what does Kirk do? Throw all of the drones and himself in the path of the weapons to try to keep the Enterprise alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kirk goes 0 to 100, real fast.
He's like, don't you get my ship blown up.
I mean, he's already lost the one ship. Shit, he doesn't want to lose the other one.
Kirk is probably saying they're coming up with plan A, plan B, plan C, plan B, D, that type of a thing. And this was like, okay, this is plan C where, everything goes to shit. And what am I going to do? I can't fight with these. Hey, but I could use them to block. I know what I'm going to do.
Can you only imagine what plan D was?
Oh God, we don't want to know what plan double D was. That's one of Kirk's favorites. We don't want to know what that
is. He was planning the D maneuver.
The D, yeah.
But Tiberius maneuver D.
Oh, yeah.
But then he gets back on. Oh, Section 31 just notified me. Your future self is gone. They corralled him and caught him. He's not on the ship anymore.
Oh, thank goodness.
However, what I like also, what I didn't like is that first off, Kirk made it back to the ship. They managed to be able to warp out in time, but the casualties. And he goes down there and he sees Easy Bay Govern Spock laying on the bed, and you have Nurse Chapel basically literally a finger snap away from crying all over the place, saying he'll never be the same.
It was heartbreaking. I mean, you could see Spock literally gave an arm and a leg.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. It's just, and then you see his face. You realize
he was trying to say face, but it didn't work.
Oh God! Oh God! This is so horrible.
So wrong.
That's bad. Man. We're gonna get hate mail for
high five, number one, high five, because that was great.
Well, you have to give him a high 5 because he can't give a high 10.
Oh, but yeah, I've got to commend. Is her name Jess? Jess Bush?
Yes, Jess.
I love her so much now. She is such an amazing actress. I want to see her in the future of her career because I'm a fan. She's so good at acting this role of Nurse Chapel.
She did.
Everyone on this cast is freaking just stellar.
They are
amazing.
They really are
completely amazing.
And to see the look on Pike's face when he saw Spock basically go through and have happened what should have happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the weight of this scene was amazing. If you wanted to look at the cinematography, slow-mo. It was a lot of slow-mo in that shot. I don't know if you realized how much slow-mo was in this. And then they did the it's I don't remember what the device is called, but it's a camera mount that you mount it to the person you're shooting. So Pike was actually, or Pike, Ensign Mount was, he was mounted by a camera mount, but he was walking and the camera is literally attached to him while he's walking. So it literally, his perspective, your visual to him doesn't change. You only see the background move around. And it's a really cool camera trick. There's a nifty device that does that, and you rarely see it be brought out for things. But to bring this out in this moment was just a master.
It's called a Snorri cam.
It was masterful.
Yeah.
A great way to show how disoriented Pike was feeling. And then also with the blurred background and how everything was shaking, it takes you into that moment with him. It really makes you feel what he's feeling.
And you're seeing, you saw the couple, one of them died.
That's what I wanted to bring up was the couple. The wife died. He just married them that day and the wife died.
Now in the original show, she didn't die in the original.
No,
it was the guy that died in the original. So that was an interesting flip. And I wonder what the decision-making process was behind that.
But it was still, the whole thing was really impactful, this whole section. And you see him trying to come together with it, and he winds up going into talking to Kirk to find out the type of person Kirk is. He's sitting down with Kirk. He says, "Tell me about yourself." He says, where were you born? I was born in Iowa. Yeah, I only work in outer space.
Right, exactly. Well, you see that moment too. I mean, we see this moment a lot. There's Pike in his room and he's staring out the window and he's got a drink in his hand. Mm-hmm. We see this a lot because he's going through lots of crazy shit. So that's how this happens. And then Kirk comes in.
AA in space.
Even though he's going through all that crazy shit, he still has time to sit down and be like, I want to get to know you. I want to know more about you. Like his empathy is just off the charts.
That's the thing with Pike. That's why everyone loves him. He was about ready to bake him a sandwich or something.
Kirk is more of a.
Kirk doesn't have as much empathy.
No, he doesn't.
At all.
No, Kirk is more of like a leadership to what I say. Pike is more like daddy.
Yeah.
We want to make sure.
What kind of daddy?
Dad wants to take care of his. I didn't say zaddy. I said daddy.
He's what kind of daddy?
So he did a good job. But now when he finally realizes that and he deletes the log and the other Pike says, no matter what you do, you're fucking everybody but yourself. And so he does that. And then Pike, the look on his face is like, okay, I did this. I'm at peace. And then there's like, you got to get to the transporter room. Why? They're taking away Una. And it's like, what the hell? What a cliffhanger.
And another thing, you want to talk about fate. He was ready to throw a fight right then and there. And she's like, no. I was expecting this.
Well, we all were expecting
Una
this.
knows her fate. She's like, this is my fate. I'm ready to face this. And just to calm Pike down because Pike was about to do something really rash.
Throughout the entire episode, they were foreshadowing this was going to happen. They even say, hey, she's in prison. They just don't tell you when she goes to prison. So they were foreshadowing it the entire episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, my thing was, I would have been, it's like, who the fuck told?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that was our little secret. And then they probably had a Section 31 figure it out.
Someone said, I'm surprised you didn't know this.
They had shower cams.
Yeah, well, somebody told because, it's going to be interesting for next season. This was an amazing episode. It truly was. And so I'm really anxious to see how you guys rated this one. So what would you give it?
I give this episode a 9. I really love how they incorporated an old episode in a new way. I love that idea of bringing in old episodes and making it new. And I also love seeing the alternate timeline where we have already seen this episode go this way in this timeline. Now we get to see what would happen if we made one little change of who the captain was and how it would go completely different the other direction. And I really, really, really loved that they did that.
That's same here. How about you, number one?
I'm going to give it a 10.
Yeah.
Because it was just fucking perfect.
Yeah. And you, Chief?
I'm going to go with a 9-ish. I loved the episode. The episode's wonderful. Boldly venturing into the past of Star Trek and changing it up, but not doing it in a way that offends me. Well, I mean, I probably wouldn't have been offended anyway. Some people, I wonder if they're going to be as offended about this episode as they were as the last one. I'm curious about that. But I really liked it. I mean, it was one of the best episodes of the original series, and to revisit it and say, what if, and to change it up, I think is just an amazing thing to do. I hope they don't do it every fucking episode. I hope it's only a once in a while thing, because this could get annoying after a while, right?
And some people are just offended, period. It doesn't matter what you do. Sometimes they're just offended just because they want to be offended.
And I'm going to weigh in on Captain Kirk. I'm not sure yet, guys. He's okay. I'm not complaining, but I'm not sure yet. And the only bit of hope I had was I saw a clip of him talking in the ready room, the after show. And he seemed more like Captain Kirk then talking to the camera getting interviewed than he felt like the Captain Kirk I grew up with. So I'm going to have to really stretch and just accept it because it's really strange. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's his hair or his eyebrows or his face or jawline, or I don't know what it is, but it's weird for me, guys. And I know Patrick loves him to death.
I know. I know what it is.
Oh, you know what it is?
It's
the way
baby.
he talked.
Is it his
I was
voice?
going to say that.
I didn't talk.
Duck.
Right.
Captain Kirk normally does.
And I'm like, why didn't they just put fucking Chris Pine in this? But they probably couldn't afford him because he's a big movie star now.
It would have blew the budget out.
Yeah, which is really disturbing to me because Chris Pine's Captain Kirk is amazing.
It was the same thing.
But you got to remember this is Captain Kirk, 10 years before?
Younger days.
Yeah.
Is Captain
10
Kirk
years before he gets the Enterprise?
It's bothering me, guys. I'm okay. I'm accepting it. And I think the guy's doing a pretty good job. I'm just not feeling the Captain Kirk that I grew up with.
You got to realize his Captain Kirk of the Wonder Years. So he's not quite there yet.
Okay.
So for me to give this a show, and I don't think I've ever given this mark out ever. Maybe I did the last one. Did I do the last one? I have to give this a 10. Because I loved the Balance of Terror. It's one of my favorite episodes and one of the only episodes I've actually downloaded to watch when I'm on the plane and going on a trip.
It's literally one of the best Star Trek original series episodes ever.
It's just so well done.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it the way they did the blending of the shots to showing what could happen with decisions in life, basically.
Yeah. How
one decision could take you down a drastic path is as minute as that decision might be. So yeah.
It's like the Back to the Future question, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't hate your mom.
Like Heather brought up.
Although, but it's not Back to the Future. They actually went to the future and they got to go back to the present, which is, that's a different cool twist, I think. I thought that was probably the most amazing twist of the whole idea of the thing is, okay, but what if we flash forward to this event in time? How would you take care of it?
Wouldn't that be amazing if you knew the future and you could,
avoid pitfalls?
Yeah, but at the same time, being in Pike's position where he could avoid it and he could save himself, but he knows that he would be screwing everyone else royally, so he has to take it.
I like the backstory part of this, which they didn't explain it, but he went through. Pike obviously went to Admiral. The Romulan Federation War was going on for years, and there's millions of people that are died, and everything that's happened. He's lost Spock. He's lost all these people that he had. And so what does he do? He thinks about it. You know what? I need to get a time crystal to see if I can fix this shit.
And I love that he does it personally, and because he didn't want the Klingons to take care of it for him. Because that was like,
they
work with the
just went back and killed him.
Yeah, they're like, we have no honor in this person. We'll take care of it for you.
We must need honor. We want honor.
Pike's like, no, hold on a second. Let me do it.
So just give me a pretty box to take it in. I can take care
I was
of
like,
it.
where did he pull that box out of? Anyway, is that a time crystal in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see
You're
him?
just happy to see me.
And how he got there is another mystery.
Well, I'm surprised the sensors didn't let go. Hold on, a news person on the ship. What happened there?
Yeah.
I'm reading the double Pike.
There's two Pikes. Just should be one. But it was a really, really good episode. And I'm sure if you guys agreed with us, just go ahead and again, we have our email, thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Please go ahead and send us stuff and not Starship warranties because we're pretty covered. So we don't want that. But next week, what's our homework coming? Number one?
It is going to be Star Trek Enterprise Season 2, Episode 6, Marauders.
So that's your homework to watch
We're going all the way back.
Hold on 1 second.
I'm so
Replicator,
upset.
could you get me at least a case of Kleenex tissues and deliver them to Heather's room? But she's going to be crying all week long for this. All right. So thanks everybody for joining us for this really amazing season finale. I mean, we just can't even wait for the next season. And next week we're going to be back on Enterprise. So you've been warned. If you don't have faith of the heart, don't listen.
You listen anyway, just to listen so you can agree with Heather on everything.
Yeah, so it's going to be
that's
good.
true.
Heather needs your support. You need to support her and watch with us.
Yeah, and you have to listen to the point that comes when Enterprise actually gets good and she becomes a fan of the later seasons. So
we're not there yet.
Nowhere near
that.
No, we're not.
Still,
One bit of news, apparently, Star Trek actor Gary Itzin has died.
Oh.
Yeah.
that sucks.
I'm trying to see what character he played, but he was a Star Trek.
He was in a bunch of Star Treks.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a way to end the show.
Yeah, it's going on a sad note. But he was on Enterprise.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, he was on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise. Yeah.
He was in all kinds of them.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a good part for us to give him a moment of silence that will trail off into the end of the show. And then we'll have our normal stuff to where to find us and everything else on the end of it. So thank you for joining. And I'm not going to end with my normal tagline because that's a sad thing. So thanks for joining, everyone.
Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.